Hey guys, what's up? It's Will and John back once again for the MMA Huddle. And we're here for UFC 247. John Jones defends his UFC Light Heavyweight Championship for the umpteenth time as he faces Dominick Reyes in your main event with Valentina Shevchenko against Katlyn Chookagian, your co-main event from Houston, Texas. A card which kind of lacks the pay-per-view kind of quality. Obviously, you're going to get people that are going to come in and view John Jones because he is a staple in combat sports pretty much. But yeah, there's only a few fights on this I'm really really looking forward to. We're really going to be going hard into, I think it's 2 months full of fights, I think, till like mid-April. So we're going to be here week in, week out with predictions. So if you can hit that subscribe button, also hit the like button, also drop a comment down in the comment section with any picks that you have, any bets that you're going to have, or just any opinions that you want to get across to us and to other people that are in the chat as well, then that would be fantastic. But like I say, smash that subscribe button because we're nearing 1,000, and that's pretty big for myself and John. So before we start talking about the fights, I'm going to pass you over to John, see how he's been with his little break off, and then we'll probably get into this, and then at the end we'll talk a little about bets and so on. So John, how you been, brother? How you been?
I've been good, apart from being a Los Angeles Chargers fan and the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl. Oh, just torture, mate. I just think now, I look at Philip Rivers at quarterback. I think, come on, man, we need to get rid of Rivers. I love him. He's done a great servant to the club for 17 years. But we need to get those new blood, those Lamar Jacksons and Patrick Mahomes. We need to get some of those kids in there. We need that new blood quarterback. So I'm hoping this draft we can get it, and hopefully we're in the Super Bowl. But that was a great Super Bowl as well. I know it's not MMA related, but between UFC, a Super Bowl was on. That was great, and I was very happy. And I think that was strategic as well by the UFC not having a UFC event on, because the Super Bowl gets way too much press and attention. But they'll probably do the advertisements around then, so it's a good way for them to kind of advertise the upcoming shows. Yeah, I've got a fight announcement, fingers crossed, coming up for myself, so that's cool as well, bro. But man, this card's coming on. We've got a big, heavy 8-9 weeks of cards in a row going on, so that's going to be fun to do. I'll be trying to get a load of interviews done for the UFC London card, so I'm going to start getting that sorted out for this month coming, because I'll be down there myself. But bro, it's going to be a grind for 8 weeks of fights, picks and bets, and we'll have good weeks, we'll have not so good weeks, and it's going to be fun because I fight games like that. But yeah, it's going to be good, bro.
It's predictions. You don't know what this is your own prediction. You're putting it across, and sometimes it comes out well, sometimes it comes out absolute dog doo-doo. So yeah, but like you were talking about the NFL there, like Philip Rivers is moving on, and it's kind of crazy. I was actually thinking when we were talking there, like how quick it can change.
Yeah.
These new quarterbacks in, because Lamar Jackson was unbelievable. Mahomes, he's got himself a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
My Cardinals has got Kyler Murray, who I hope makes a massive stride next season. So, but like I say, NFL's over. Back into the main stuff. Back into MMA, and we're going to start down with a late replacement fight that kind of came in here on short notice in the featherweight division. Austin Lingo against Youseff Zala, and this was literally sprung onto us probably the middle of last week, towards the end of last week. Yeah. So I'll let John lead the way in this one.
Yeah, a bit annoyed it was sprung on us, so I had to kind of squeeze some time in to fit in the fight. But from what I can see, it was a strange one to make, both making a debut, both of them from LFA as well. But Youseff was, for me, he's kind of tall, long guy in a weight class. He's got a bit of a reach advantage over Lingo, but he kind of has a bit of a confidence thing. He kind of almost smack talks, kind of gets a bit cocky in the ring but he can be defeated. He's in his last 3 fights, he's 1-2. Wrestling, he does have a bit of difficulty with the grappling aspect. He can get out grappled, he can get overpowered, but he's not going to have to worry too much about that because Austin Lingo is a guy who likes to throw his hands, and that guy's got power. Like, you go and watch some of his fights on LFA. Now, not all the LFA fights are on the UFC yet. Now, I don't know if that's a case of I don't know if they will transfer over, because it might be a case of the TV promotion, TV channel that had it, which was, is it XS TV or something like that? Yeah. They might have LFA up to 70 odd. 76, for example, and the UFC might then show 77 onwards. I don't know if they'll do a back catalogue of it, but you can find stuff on there, on some on Fight Pass and some on YouTube. But yeah, Lingo, man, he's got good footwork, 5'10", slightly smaller reach advantage. He's quite compact, but he hits so goddamn hard. He hits nice combinations, good, nice bit of footwork. He comes in and he just hits guys and rocks them. And he's shown where he's got good grappling aspect. He's rocked guys, they've fallen. Gets to the grappling side of things. He'll get the back, put a choke in. I think Youseff is in a bit of danger here. Youseff will come in a bit powerful with the footwork, looking a bit confident with his kind of wide stance. But overall, I just don't see where Youseff is going to get the advantage here. I don't think he hits as hard as Austin. I don't think he's got the submission game like Austin has shown. I am favouring towards Austin here. I think he can stop Youseff and get a nice little showcase UFC debut win, and potentially, if it depends on how the rest of the card goes, might even get himself a 50k bonus if he gets to finish and makes it look all pretty like he has done in LFA.
Like I said, I've seen very little of this. I've had kids driving through to places, and I just have not found the time in between work and everything else. So I think I've seen like 2 of Lingo and just the 1 of Zala. But what I've seen from Lingo is that he's got like a lot of pep in his punches. Like, he can really go after you, and you can see with his record as well that he's got a fair few finishes, early finishes in the first round. Been a decision a few times, but the guy's a finisher by trade. Zalal, I think he comes from a decent camp. I think it's Factory X out of Colorado. So I mean, he's training with good bodies. I think he's 7-2 record, but like you said, he's lost a couple in his last 3 his last 3 or something. He's lost.
Yeah,
so
2 of the last 3. Yeah.
I think he's helped here by being at a decent camp, being kind of close by in Colorado. But you've got Lingo there, who fights out of the kind of famed Fortis MMA, which is that good group of fighters that are coming out of Texas at the minute. And this one here, I think this is going to be good for Lingo to really get started here. So I'm going to go Lingo, probably a TKO at some part of this. I think he can beat him in a vast array of areas. So I've got Lingo for the win now. Andre Ewell against Jonathan Martinez. This is going to be a fairly decent fight, because I didn't think Martinez was going to stick around the UFC after. Now, I know he came short notice against Tafa, but I didn't. When I looked at him, I thought, I think you're going to struggle to win fights in the UFC. I think you're going to be surplus to the requirements quite quickly. But when you look at his 2 opponents that he's had, Waliji Burun, Lu Pingyuan, not bad opponents to get, especially coming off the Sukumtath loss. They could have probably put him against these young upstarts coming through, but they put him against guys who've had losses in the UFC. And he's shown that he's got a lot of kind of decent qualities there against that caliber opposition. Now, I don't really put Andre Ewell much higher than what those 2 guys are, but I definitely do think it's better than what he's faced in his previous 2 fights. But he's coming off that devastating knee knockout in the 3rd round against Ping Wang. That was a beautiful, beautiful finish.
Yeah. And
obviously had the Waliji. I think he's a good combination striker. I think he's got some good speed to him. I didn't think he had that kind of power in him to really hurt. But if that knee lands anywhere, I mean, you can, especially on the chin, he can hurt people with that. When you look at Ewell, he's very kind of rangy, very awkward, a kind of hard guy to maybe get ready for, because he's so herky-jerky, and it's probably hard to kind of get training partners like that. He came to the UFC with a lot of hype after obviously beating Henan Barao, which, like I say, it's not the Henan Barao that we knew from many, many moons ago, but again, going to Brazil and getting a win against a guy like that, it's always going to look great. It's always going to look great in his record. He beat a former UFC champion. I mean, he's had some big opposition since then. Nathaniel Wood, I think, was a big fight for him. Chito Vera was a big fight to have as well. 2 guys who are probably closing in the top 15 of the rankings there. And in between that, he's got that win over Anderson dos Santos. Like I say, very kind of rangy and very, very kind of wiry and weird the way he throws his strikes and his movement. The way I can really see him losing this, if he gets caught with like a similar knee type situation, or he maybe starts to slow down and Martinez starts to take over, wins a close decision. But ultimately, I've got Andre Ewell. I think he's got him beating a few different areas just with his speed and just his different strikes that he throws. So I'll go Chito Vera. I was going to say I'll go Andre Ewell. I'm looking at Chito Vera's name now. I'll go Andre Ewell via decision.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, I was like you with Martinez. I was a bit uncertain. Combate Americas he came over from, wasn't it? So I was again one of them ones where he thought, okay, cool. He had some wild fights, and I think he was like a bit Andre Ewell as well, where he came in Andre Ewell did well against Baran, but then we saw what Ewell was like after that a lot more. For me, if I thought Ewell, I think he's a bit restrictive in his striking. He relies on that left hand, that left straight, way too much. It's like his go-to signature punch all the time, and I think he doesn't set it up enough. He's decent, but like you said, the thing about Martinez that I liked is the combinations. He's also got really good conditioning, Martinez, for the volume he sticks out there. He keeps it up in that third round and just keeps pouring on to guys. So that was something that stuck out to me. I thought, how will Ewell manage being able to land that left straight frequently when you've got Martinez constantly throwing the combinations? And a good thing about Martinez, he doesn't just throw hands, he'll throw the leg kicks, body kicks, head kicks. He'll throw a mixture of stuff, not just hands. He won't just box with Ewell. Grappling aspect, I don't think we'll see much of the ground game with this. I think the two of them would be very much happy to stay on the feet. It might go to the cage, don't get me wrong, because of just the circumstances. They might be a bit too close, and you might just want to grapple to get just a close distance to break again. But I don't see too much on the ground here with the pair of them. I'm not saying they're not bad on the ground, but I think it's going to be very much a stand-up fight. I think Martinez is going to be throwing the higher volume. Ewell's going to be kind of stepping back on those, waiting for the throw, that counter left. He does it a lot himself. He likes to kind of be on the back foot almost, to wait to kind of counter when the opponent's coming in with the momentum forward, to try and use that left straight, because obviously there you get the physics where the movement of you coming forward kind of emphasises that power more with the punch. So I think that's what Ewell might do here. You might see that Martinez is there for the kind of taking advantage of, because Martinez's aggression coming forward will be there for the left. But I'm going to go with Martinez myself. I just think the volume will actually, over the 3 rounds, be enough to get him away. I think he can take a hit, Martinez, and he does take a couple of hits, but I think the sheer volume he's going to throw Andre Ewell, I don't think Ewell's going to be able to match or keep up with that number. I haven't seen Ewell throw enough for me in a fight to kind of think he can go punch for punch with Martinez for 3 rounds. So I'm going to go with Martinez on this one. I think he can actually outpoint him just on the sheer volume of it. I'm not saying he lands every punch, but on a judge's eyes, when you're seeing someone throw 4 punches and Ewell throws 1, it kind of can stick out a bit, from a judging perspective, the numbers game. So I'm going to go with Martinez.
Sticking in the bantamweight division, we've got Johnny Newson against Domingo Pilarte. I think this one could be an entertaining scrap. Who have you got?
Johnny Newson, I was I impressed with him? He's alright, yeah. Fought Ricardo Ramos, which I think is a bit of a rough one to have. It's a rough fight for anyone in the UFC, making the UFC debut. But when I obviously would look back at his fights on other promotions, I was still a bit like, I didn't think his striking was overly impressive. His opponents, again, were not the best outside the UFC, some of them, so you do have to worry a little bit about like that. But for me, Domingo Pilarte was not a bad fighter in his fight against De Freitas. It was De Freitas, wasn't it, he fought? Yeah. I thought Domingo did alright in that fight. I didn't think he looked too bad. It was just, obviously, on the feet he was getting hit a little bit. And De Freitas, was it? No, it wasn't. Yeah. Was De Freitas? No, it wasn't. Colares, sorry. Colares, I'm getting mixed up with the fighters here. Felipe Colares, sorry, lost decision, Felipe Colares. I thought it was an alright fight with Pilarte. I thought he did alright in that fight, if I'm honest with you. I thought his skill set looked good. I thought it was a good decision fight. And it was a split decision. And I would not have argued with Pilarte winning that fight. For me, Newson, I think he's actually not the better striker here. I think Pilarte can have, again, he's got a better arsenal. Pilarte's got more of a variation of strikes than Newson. I think Newson, I'm not sold on him. I'm not. Even on the regional scene stuff I walked at, I thought, I can't see Newson with the skill set to. I don't think he'll knock Pilarte out. I think he'll land some strikes, but I don't see anything in his arsenal that's going to make me go, oh, he can get this win with maybe a grappling or anything like that. Because if you look at a lot of Newson's fights, it's the striking that he won with. He was putting people away with either stopping on their feet. But I kind of favour Pilarte in this, and I don't know why. After watching the tapes, I kind of think I don't and maybe Newson was nervous, to be fair. I could be judging this very wrong, because it was his UFC debut. He was fighting someone who, Ricardo Ramos, is a bit of a nightmare to fight for your debut. So I could be looking at it from that perspective wrong a little bit, and I could get it very wrong. But I'm just going off what I've watched. I'm going to go with Pilarte on this one. I think that the kind of 3 rounds, Pilarte's variable strikes, potential kind of grappling aspects that he could have with Newson. I'm going to go with Pilarte on this one. I think he can cause Newson some problems in the fight, not just on the striking but the grappling aspect.
I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to go Johnny Newson. Like I say, he coming in against Ricardo Ramos, that was short notice, and he took his licks in that fight. Kid's got a chin on him, by the way. He ate, that third round, he ate a full flush back elbow, and I was surprised that he was still sticking around in that fight, and then nearly caught Ramos with a guillotine, I think it was. I still think he's like too small for 135. I think he could make 125. I think that's a division he could maybe flourish.
Very muscular, isn't he? He's very muscular, so he could cut the water off maybe, to make it down there.
Absolutely could. I think he's better suited, honestly, to 125 if he decides to make the move down there. But you've got a guy here who is probably one of the bigger bantamweights. He's a 6-foot bantamweight, but he's coming off fighting Ramos, who's also a 6-foot bantamweight, who he felt like he couldn't make the weight cut anymore, so he's moved up to featherweight now. Pilarte, I think, could be at that stage where the weight cuts are really taking over and kind of depleting him. And you maybe seen that in the Colares fight a little bit, where he was held up, he got taken down a few times, and that's really where he kind of lost the fight. As a striker, I think Newson's got some decent kicks. You've seen that in the Ramos fight. I thought he looked all right in that aspect. I think he's got a really nice check left hook, which I think he can really stop his opponent from throwing kind of certain combinations or getting certain shots or firing from certain angles. That's something that I really liked from him. And like I say, he attempted to submit Ramos and caught him in a really nice guillotine towards the kind of end of that fight, but ultimately he still lost, I think, 30-27 across the vast majority of the cards. But I liked what I seen, especially some of his composure elements, because in that first round he was fully mounted with someone like Ramos and Toppy and managed to come through and survive there, so I like that. I just like him over Pilarte here. I'm not super impressed with what I see from Pilarte. I think that Newson's got a little bit of a higher ceiling, depending if he moves down a division. I don't think 135 I don't think he should stick around there, if I'm being honest with you. I think he's just in the land of the giants by being a 5'5" bantamweight down there. And probably, I mean, we were talking before we come on here about John Dodson. At least that guy's got some power. I don't think Newson's got that kind of power. Now, I don't think Dodson's really got that type of power anymore where he can stop guys with one shot. So maybe moving to 125 would benefit him. I just like him over the 15 minutes here. I think he wins. So I've got Johnny Newson via decision. Sticking in the bantamweight division, Jones against Mauro Bautista. This is a really good fight. It was one that I looked in super early, and it's actually one that I thought this might not be a bad bet for this fight here. You've got the kind of wrestler in Myles Jones, a really athletic guy. I think he's a southpaw striker, against Mauro Bautista, who's very gritty, very tough, very durable. But obviously he does lack in some areas where Myles Jones could really take kind of precedence in this fight here, which is obviously the grappling. You look at Jones' first fight in the UFC, had Cole Smith, won that fight very close. He was put in some positions there where he had a massive bantamweight. We're just talking about a couple of massive bantamweights on Ramos.
Huge.
Cole Smith was a big dude, and he took the back a few times and had him in some precarious positions. But ultimately, I think it was the right decision that he got the win. I think he worked for it more, got those takedowns, had a little bit of top time himself. And then Bautista's coming off, came in against Sanhagen, short notice. That's a tough fight in itself. You kind of write that off, but then you take his fight against Jinsu Sun, who he got taken down a few times, but instantly really popped back up to his feet. And then from there, he just landed strike after strike against Jinsu Sun. And that's what I think he's going to have to do here. I think that Myles Jones is obviously going to be going in for takedowns. I think that on the feet, I don't think he's all that bad either. But initially I see maybe starting off the fight, him getting Bautista. I think Bautista will get back to his feet. And then from there, I just think over the course of the 15 minutes, the striking of Bautista's going to come in here. I think he's very dangerous in the clinch, very nasty in the clinch. And yeah, just for me, I just like him in a very, very, very close fight here. Probably a split decision. But he is against a guy that's from Texas. So I'm like, I'm going to go Bautista. And this will be a very, very close split decision. I think he's going to be a little bit more nasty, a little bit more mean on the feet. But there could be some spots in here that look a bit sketch because John's going to maybe take him down and initially keep him down there. But I like Bautista a little bit more in this fight. And like I said, I've got him via split.
Yeah, I like the fight as well, bro. I thought, like, that Myles John Cole Smith one, that Smith one was that dude, like, when I watched it back, I went, I can't remember watching this and not noticing the difference in that, how big he was. Yeah. Like, when I watched it back, I went, fucking hell, he's massive. But Myles John impressed me in that way because he managed it. He controlled it. He was able to, handle the size difference. And there probably was a strength difference there as well, I'd imagine, too. The Bautista one, the Sun fight, he kind of felt that with Bautista, he kind of obviously he just got his foot in the door against Sandhagen, short notice, stepping in, quickly get in. And it was... Yeah, fair enough. There, I think I still am sitting here itching to see Frankie Edgar against Corey Sandhagen, because that is I think Sandhagen's above these guys anyway. These two fighters fighting. So again, I'm with you, Will. I'd write that one off. I think Bautista showed in that fight against somewhere. It was almost like, okay, cool. Now it's my time to show what I can do. Now I'm ready to go, and he did. He was aggressive. It was nice to see. I think that was only my worry was his. I want to see over. He can be overly aggressive, which can open to the takedowns. So, if Myles John is smart, he stays on the feet to engage Mario, to then bait him in for the strikes, shoot in, get the takedown, score your points, Bob's your uncle. And, once or twice Mario will get up, I'm sure, but if you can keep it off the cage, it'll make it a bit harder for Mario to get back up off the ground, and I think that's one of the key things. I think Myles should try to keep the fight in the centre of the ring, because remember, it's going to be a bigger cage for this fight. It's not a fight night card, it's a pay-per-view. So if you can keep it in the centre of the cage, entice Mario in, get the takedowns, and that way make it a bit harder for Mario to get up and even delay the Mario getting up, he would have a lot more success. I don't know if I see him doing that, but then again, we don't know if Mario's been sitting back there with his coaches and they go, look, just if you taper off a little bit of the aggression, you can negate some of the opportunities for takedowns on you. I want to go for Mario as well, because I think that I see the grappling aspect of Myles Johns, but I think Mario, when he hits you, he's very aggressive in that sense where he's really going to put the hurt on. I've seen Myles throw the striking, but I don't see the maliciousness with Johns on the feet. So I'll go with Mario for the win because I think he will get taken down, but I think he'll land more on the feet, which will ultimately give him the score, especially with the judging system. I'm not sure what Texas has for the judging.
Yeah, they're a bit dodgy sometimes, the Texas judges.
Yeah. And I don't know what the rule set is they have either. I don't know if they have the old set or the new set. I know it's a bit of a pain that. It's something I should probably look at before I do this as well, to be fair. Try and look at the last card and try and guess if they've still stuck to it. But if they've got the new rule set, I think Mario should take it on the striking side of things because he will land more, I think. I think he'll hurt him more. So I'm going to go Bautista's, is it Bautista? Yeah, Bautista. I think he should get maybe he might get a decision or split, but I think he should. I think you'll see John's definitely hurt more on the face. He'll definitely show the war wounds more than Bautista will.
Mm-hmm. So moving on, we've got Lauren Murphy against Andrea KGB Lee in the women's flyweight division. How do you see it going?
I only see it going one way, if I'm honest with you, mate. I think Andrea Lee just should absolutely light up Lauren Murphy like a Christmas tree. I am high on Andrea Lee still. I thought she had a wicked fight against Joanne Calderwood. I really enjoyed that fight. Absolutely splendid battle. They kicked 7 bells of shit out of each other. Let's be honest. I would hate to have been their lead legs that next day. Oh gosh, you just watched it each round, bro, and just saw the colour and the swelling. You went, yeah, that's going to tickle. And the pair of them just didn't stop. They kept swinging those kicks in. It was great. I think Lauren Murphy is an unorthodox striker. It's not her natural home. she's like Roxanne Modafferi, where she's found a style of striking where she's comfortable to throw, if that makes sense. She's not dancing around like a boxer. She's not moving around like a kickboxer. She's found her kind of semi-quasi grappling, striking kind of position with it. But I don't think Lauren Murphy's jabs or right straights, so to speak, are going to even be too much of a problem for Andrea Lee. I think Andrea Lee's just got to be careful with the leg kicks, because Lauren Murphy, if I'm Lauren Murphy, I'm going to try and get those leg kicks and catch her and get her down. I'm just going to go for the grappling side of things. So, and you've got to remember, Andrea Lee is no slouch on the back. She is no slouch on the back. She's got submission games, and she'll just threaten. She'll throw elbows. She's very active off the back. She's the pain. She's active. Joanne Calderwood found that out as well, where Joanne got to fight down, but Andrea Lee doesn't stop. She'll try to get up, etc. I just think Andrea Lee's a bit of a gulf between what Lauren Murphy is. So I just see Andrea Lee having a way in this fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if she got a stoppage, but I think Lauren Murphy is a bit of a tough one. She can take a few hits. I think you might see a dominant decision from Andrea Lee. I really am. I'm very high on Andrea Lee anyway, so I could see her just easily getting this one. I don't see why and how she could lose this fight, to be honest with you. I'd be amazed if she did.
Yeah, I just see this being predominantly a striking fight. Yeah. And I think the more cleaner striker is just Lee. I think she's quicker. I think she throws more. She lands more. And she doesn't get hit as much. I think that's in a fight like this. I think Lauren Murphy, when she's throwing strikes, Lee's going to be countering with decent strikes. So, and like you were saying, if this fight was to go to the ground, the only place would be if Lauren Murphy could really hold her down and be heavy in top position. But she doesn't really show many kind of aspects of that. And she's coming off a nice stoppage against Romero Barella. That was a nice finish to have. But I just think when I look at this fight, I think Andrea Lee is so quick. I think she's got more striking tools at her disposal to kind of use, and ultimately I just see her winning this fight pretty, did I say dominantly? It might not look as dominant, but it wouldn't surprise me if there's 30-27 cards thrown in there, or maybe Lauren Murphy gets a round or two, but I just see Andrea Lee being far better striker here. I think she'll counter well. I think she will use everything that she's got at her disposal and just ultimately just frustrate Lauren Murphy and beat her here. So I've got Andrea Lee for the W there. Moving on, Alex Moreno comes in here against another short notice guy, a guy who's coming in short notice to face Alex Moreno here, in Kalinn Williams. He comes out of the kind of Michigan area, so he comes in, I want to say it's a 9-1 record, so it's not the worst record I've ever seen in my life. I expect Moreno to kind of win this fairly convincingly here. He should, after the kind of calibre oppositions that he's faced in the past. I mean, it's far more superior to anything that Williams has faced in his MMA career, obviously coming in short notice. I don't think he was getting ready for a fight, where I think that Lingo, back in the card, he had a fight booked for March, so he was getting into fight shape regardless. And Alex Moreno's in the best run of his career now, where he's got 3 wins in a row, and he's got a finish in the middle of those 3 wins as well, where he got a TKO there. I think I actually think he's really solid in a lot of areas, but he's not really get a big signature win. I think outside of maybe the Max Griffin one, which I think it's, when I look at his record, it's the best win that he's got in his career. But even his losses, I mean, Keita Nakamura, we've spoken about him in the past. He's a very savvy veteran.
Yeah,
very
there's
hard.
A lot of guys that will fall short of him.
Yeah, he can make fights close and ultimately win fights. That's kind of really what down in that fight there, in Japan as well, which never really helps. But I just think that this is a really good matchup for Moreno across the vast majority of the fight here, and I think he stops Williams in the middle part of this fight via TKO. I think he could maybe get him to the ground and kind of smash him up with ground and pound a little bit, and maybe force the finish out of Williams. So I've got Alex Moreno to kind of get a stoppage. I'd be surprised if he doesn't get a stoppage, but this guy's obviously coming in his debut here. He wants to show what he's all about, but I just think this should be a fight Moreno kind of rolls in for me.
Yeah, you can see the kind of I don't say arrogance, I want to say confidence in Kalinn in his fights in the regional scene. He comes in with a little posse and stuff like that, and he's got a bit of a regional following with his people, so that's probably one of the reasons why they picked him as well. He's been all right in his fights that he's had outside of the UFC. He went the distance in his last one, so that will have, that'll be good for him to get the time under his belt. But at the same time, do the UFC want him to be finishing guys like that? Some of the guys' records that he's fought are a bit so-so. He stopped a guy in 24 seconds, but it wasn't an impressive fight, to be brutally honest with you. But I thought that he's okay in the striking. I think Moreno, though, is on a bit of a tear, mate. I'm with you as well. I think 3-fight win streak, that's going to go under the radar in the welterweight division. This will make it 4 wins in a row as well. I'm going with Alex too, but Alex is just starting to... He's got good striking now. I think he's got good striking. I think he's starting to get the footwork well. He's so active. He's got actually really good cardio, I think, for the welterweight that he is. I think he's got the dad bod, so to speak. Yeah, he's got a bit of a dad bod, a little overhang on the shorts and that, but he wears it, and he's, you think, oh, he's got a weak midriff, maybe he takes hits, he can take a shot, he's got good conditioning, he lets his coaches ping out these combinations, he whips them out, he's got nice hands, and he's just hot, he just grinds guys out, outworks them, and he outworked Max Griffin. I thought it was a really good. I thought it was a good win, that one. I was impressed with that win. I thought he did really well. I thought Max Griffin might have been able to outpower him and outstrength him. Max does have a bit of a gas tank issue, but overall, I've been impressed with Alex Moreno. I think this kind of fight is the one where the kid, I think Katlyn's going to come out swinging at the start maybe. You've got to be a bit cautious and a bit wary at the very start of the fight, but I don't see much in his skill set that should be able to stop him, stop Alex Moreno getting a win here. I'm going with Ewell. I think he can get possibly actually a submission win, if I'm honest with you. I think he might, get the guy to give his back up, get the back and get the choke in. So, something along those lines where he's just able to get the kind of, I want to say regional scene mistake. The kind of thing that guy makes in the regional scenes, gets away with it. But when you go up against the kind of higher level, they sometimes see those mistakes. I think it might be something like that where Kalyn's getting up maybe and Moreno's able to jump on the back and get a choking or something. So I'm going to go with Alex Moreno for sub maybe in the later rounds.
Okay, so moving up one division to the middleweights, we've got Trevin Gyles against Antonio Arroyo. This is one I've kind of went back and forth with. Who have you?
Yes, I am exactly like you. I have went back and forth on this one. Because Trevin Gyles did not look that bad. I know he's lost a couple of fights, but he wasn't that bad. To be fair, Zach Cummins is a very good veteran in the UFC. He's been around. He's fought some great guys, so he knows, what's going on. Trevin Gyles, young. I don't want to say brash, but he's just got this air of, I've got this. And it's nice. He's so relaxed when he's in there. Trevin, it's nice when he's in there. He fought Gerald Mirsad as well. Again, another very experienced, hard fight. It's not been easy for Trevin. This is the kind of fight you want Trevin to get for his UFC debut. It's those Dana White ones where the Dana White contender guys, he gets them in and then goes, okay, cool. I know he got the Neto win. I was impressed with that one. And the... What's his name? It begins with B. Bokovic. Oh, flipping know it. Begins with a B and ends in a VIC, I think.
Yeah, Bokovic, yeah.
I was in my head. I had Blachowicz, and I couldn't get it out. So it's not. I know it's not Blachowicz. I know it's not. So he's building Trevin up now because I think Zach and Gerald Mirsad maybe a middle tier middleweights. I think Trevor needs a couple of fights like this. I think Antonio Arroyo is dangerous because of the kind of flamboyant kicks and shots he can. He's just explosive. I think Arroyo's going to be one of them guys that gets a couple of wins, gets a couple of losses. He doesn't get a good streak going. I think he might even be a one-on-one kind of guy because you'll get certain strikers that will fall into him and bait into his style where you'll get the finish, and then you'll get guys who might just think, I'm going to leg kick and wrestle him, and they'll get the win over Arroyo. Because you look at Rayo physically, he looks like an absolute monster, but he is beatable. You can get into those spaces with Rayo, and you can actually you can put a bit of heat on him. I'm going to go with Trevin because I've got there's just something about the kid. I've got faith in him. I thought the Andrea Muniz fight Rayo had. I just think that I'm just not sold on Arroyo yet. I think he's got a skill set that's there. I just don't know if he's got maybe the right coaching to get the most out of it. But I've got something about Trevin where, Oh, bless me. Whew. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, I think I've got confidence in Trevin. I think he can throw the hands. Just don't make mistakes. Be calm. He's relaxed, and he's got good timing on his strikes. I'm going to go Trevin on this one. I've got faith in something about the guy. I like something about this kid. I know he's got a couple of losses, but I think he could pull it back with a win here. I just think Antonio's going to be one of them ones where he's got something there about him, but I don't think he's ever going to be in danger in the UFC. But I'm just stuck on it because at times I think Arroyo can just throw a head kick and finish it. Do you know, it's horrible. I just think Arroyo's going to be one of those awkward anomalies in that division.
Yeah. This was one when I was kind of looking into. I did my Ireland side into it, and I was kind of on the Arroyo side. But I've kind of moved over to the Trevin Gyles side because when you look at Arroyo, obviously he's a very, very, very dangerous kicker. Super dangerous kicker, and it's to all parts of the body. It's low, middle, high, and he can really diverse his attacks by going to any one of those parts of the body. So at all times you have to be very, very careful. I think his downfall is that he does it that much that he can read the kicks quite well and get takedowns off him, and that's what Muniz did. He got his takedowns, got in there, and he always wanted to get the fight to the ground anyway because he's a jiu-jitsu guy. But he was having some decent spells on the feet against Arroyo, but you have to be super careful when you stand up for as long as you do with Arroyo because all it takes is one shot, and that could really break you down, and that could be his entrance into kind of winning the fight. I think if I'm Trevin Gyles, I know he's fought the better caliber opposition. He, like you said, middle tier, middleweights. That's probably a decent way of kind of describing it, but maybe Trevin Gyles has shown that he kind of fades late on in fights and gives opportunities to his opponents. And both guys are very, very experienced when you look at Mirsad and Zach Cummins. So looking at those fights, you're fighting guys that have got far more experience than what Trevin Gyles has, especially being in the UFC as well. Yeah. But Trevin Gyles is a good striker himself, so let's not forget about that. He did really well against Braga Neto. Come out there and really Braga was really trying to get the takedowns. That's what he was trying to do, and he was stuffing them very well. But you look at the Botanovic fight, you're going back probably 3 years, 3 years, but he got numerous takedowns in that one. That was at light heavyweight, and he just stuffed that guy out. I think if I am him here, I obviously try and strike with him, but I try and get takedowns and try and get some top time on him because I think he can do that, because I don't think he's got all that great takedown defense. But I'm going to pick Trevin Gyles, but I think he's going to have to come through the fire here a little bit and ultimately take some shots to win this fight. So I've got Trevin Gyles for your decision, though. So moving on to the pay-per-view card. In the heavyweight division, you've got the Black Beast, Derrick Lewis, against the kind of human fire hydrant in Ilir Latifi, who's moving up, who's small for 205, but is moving up to heavyweight. So... yeah, it's this is a fight that if you were ever tell me that these two would fight, I would literally probably give you the middle finger and laugh in your face and say you're stupid. I couldn't believe it. But it's a fight that I'm struggling with greatly for the simple reason both guys are very, very low output. Yep. And I think both guys can be got. I don't trust Derrick Lewis in the slightest, because if you can hit him to his body, it seems to me like he can't take many good, clean shots to the body. And you can get him down, you can get some positions on him, but he's super explosive. Obviously, he's very powerful, and it doesn't take a hell of a lot of a shot to really hurt you and take you out. And he can do that at any point of the fight, but he can give up opportunities and lose rounds due to kind of inactivity. And that's something that Latifi, if I'm him, I'm trying to grab onto single legs, try and reap him down, try and clinch onto him. And I think Latifi can do that because he's so strong that if he can get you against the cage and keep you there, maybe reap you down and do that and keep you there, and if Lewis gets back to his feet to try and maybe take him down, then he could possibly win some rounds through that. I'm just scared that he's going to get caught with one shot and that's all it's going to be. Plus, Derrick Lewis is fine at home here. He's in Houston. I think he's probably going to get the biggest kind of ovation of the night. Actually, I think he's going to be very well supported within that arena. But it's just hard to trust either guy here. I'm picking Derrick Lewis, but I feel like I should be picking Latifi because, like I said, it would not surprise me if it comes out here and Latifi just really has a really bad game plan for this one here, but ultimately kind of wins the fight through Lewis not doing too much or not landing the strikes he need to and not having a plan B to go to either. So I'm going to pick Derrick Lewis, though. That was my gut feeling when I heard this pick get put together. When I watched a couple of fights out of the guys, I don't know, I think it's a bad time for Latifi to be kind of moving up to heavyweight. I don't think it's the worst matchup in the world to move up to heavyweight. I will say that because I think that he could maybe stifle out Lewis in this fight and really frustrate him, but I've got Lewis landing that killer punch at some part of this fight and getting a TKO win, so I've got the Black Beast to win this one here.
Yeah, I did. I still can't believe that fight's happening. It's still weird. But Latifi will come in about 240 something. So
yeah,
because that's what he was when he got offered opportunity to step into the UFC on that short notice fight on his debut. He cut down from like 240 or something. So he does walk around 240. So he's not going to be a size-wise. He won't be small. Stature is different, obviously. 5'10", 6'4", so there's a little bit of height difference. But for Lewis, it's just literally going from one short guy to another because he fought Ivanov. Yeah, so it's a similar guy again. I think it's similar, but I think Latifi's got worse cardio than Ivanov. I think Latifi's cardio, we saw it big time. We've seen it. He fades off. Derrick fades, but Derrick fades from when he walks up the stairs into the cage. So, it's not like Derrick just fades off just walking. I think cardio is a bit of a nightmare for him in general. But the Volkan Oezdemir fight, you saw him fade off in that fight. You saw him hands on hips, trying to get his breath back, just pushing his opponent away. Now, Volkan was putting the pressure on, the whole fight. It's a bit different than Derrick. But you see with Derrick Lewis, he can sprawl. He has got an alright sprawl on him if he's shooting, so he might feel that, Derrick's probably going to weigh maybe 280 in that fight. 40-pound difference is probably going to be... I reckon there's going to be about 40-pound difference. Now, 40-pound difference is flipping massive. Especially, you got to remember, Derrick Lewis likes to throw kicks as well, doesn't he? For some reason he throws these jump front kicks and all sorts. Latifi's a great height for that because you don't have to kick as high. Doesn't seem like a lot, but little things like that. I think Lewis is actually going to stop Latifi probably in the fight. I think that Latifi's going to have to charge forward to close the distance. So he's got to chase him and charge forward. I agree with you. The body shots, Lewis isn't good at it, but Junior Santos is an absolute wicked boxer. When Dos Santos was ripping Lewis's body up, Derrick Lewis is just... He's not got the body for, but I don't think Latifi's got the boxing skills that Junior Santos has, let's say, to land those kind of strikes. I think Latifi's going to have to charge in, but what are you going to do? Run into Derrick Lewis and just grab him against the cage and knee him? I'm a bit stuck on what Latifi's going to get out of it. I think, and Lewis in the Ivanov fight, he was able to turn it around on him as well, so I think he can turn it around on Latifi, throw some strikes and break up. I'm going Derrick Lewis on this, but I'm not saying I'm against Latifi being in the heavyweight division. I think there's some fights in that division he'll win. So he'll just be kept there for that reason. But this is purely, they thought, let's give Derrick Lewis a fight where he's got a high probability of winning in his hometown on pay-per-view. That's what this fight is to me. And I think, he should get the win.
Okay, moving on to one of the fights I'm really looking forward to in the entire card. It's Mirsad Bektić facing off against the surgeon Dan Ige in the featherweight division, which is just between bantamweight and featherweight. It's two really, really great divisions at the minute. This is I think it's a really close, well-matched fight, actually. Who have you got in the matchup?
I am so torn on this still, even to now. I hate that I have to pick someone, if I'm honest with you, because I hate the fact that I've got to try and... I've watched the tape study on both of them, and I haven't got a definitive answer. I'm going to pick one just because I kind of need to pick one. But, let's look at the Mirsad fight against Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett has got bloody stones for hands, right? So he can do that to anyone. So I'm not going to say... Ige could fight Josh Emmett. It could happen to him. Who else did it happen to? Michael Johnson. You know, Michael Johnson was literally lighting him up, and then last minute or something he gets stopped. So, but in general in the fight, I thought he was doing all right. Mirsad, I thought he was doing okay in the fight against Josh Emmett. I know it was only it was the first round or something like that, wasn't it? But I thought he was doing okay in the fight. He looked all right. That was his, you know, he beat the Ricardo Lamas, so that was like his, you know, that was his entrance into the upper echelon, beating someone like Lamas, and obviously he came short of Emmett. This is a tough fight for both guys, because I think Mirsad's wrestling is solid. But then you're going to take Ige down, who just likes to get to the ground and go for submissions and fight with that grappling aspect. And on the feet, Ige's super aggressive with the striking. Man, it's a hard one because Ige, this is like his test. This is Ige's gauge, and he's a high prospect in this division. You know, he's got past the guys he should have, like a Mike Santiago. Jordan Griffin was a good fight to get past. I thought Danny Henry. I think you and I were both surprised at how quick that went, but that was like I think Danny was just slow off the mark. If you and I probably look at that fight, I thought Danny just wasn't ready. He wasn't in the fight quick enough. Ige was fast. Henry was kind of just going in first gear. And the Kevin Aguilar fight was a great one. You know, it was a beautiful fight, the Kevin Aguilar one, between the pair of them. That was a really good fight to watch as a fan, as a fight fan in general. But you get a lot out of it. The pair of them, it's not turnovers. Bloody Super Bowl. Sorry, people. I've got turnovers in my head. Reversals. That's the word. Oh, my gosh. Sorry. So, bloody Super Bowl in my head. So, yeah. So, the reversals in that fight was fantastic between Ige and Aguilar. You know, I really loved it. But what I liked about it was it kind of gave me a little bit of hope with Mirsad. If it goes to the ground, Mirsad can maybe out-wrestle it or keep the top control. I think Ige can get the back. I think he can get submission attempts on Mirsad on the feet. I think they both hurt each other. Ultimately, man, do I go with the hype of Ige or do I go with Mirsad? Man, I am still stuck here with this one. I'm gonna go. Do you know what? I'm gonna go wild. I'm gonna go Ige. He's on a roll. He's on a lot of momentum, a lot of hype with him. I know Mirsad's with TriStar. He's with the absolute one of the best game planners in Faraz Sahabi. But I'm going to go with Ige. Oh, mate, it's a hard one. I'm still torn on it, but I'm going to go with Ige, bro. Just don't ask me anymore.
Yeah, it's a really good, well-matched fight. I love fights like this. This is one where I could sit and kind of look into both guys and try and see if you can find an edge in many spots. And sometimes it's harder than others to kind of do that, but obviously, for me, when I look at this matchup, if Mirsad hadn't shown kind of incapacities with his chin, I think he'd be favoured highly, a lot higher in this fight here, because I do think that he is a really good fighter, and I think that he can win spots of this fight and be dominant looking. But also, you're always in the back of your head going to have that. All it takes is one shot, and that guy could go down, and that's it. Because I mean,
it was a jab, wasn't it? That got knocked down by
it was
Josh.
a beautiful jab from Josh Emmett that dropped him. But you obviously have to go back to the Darren Elkins fight where he completely kind of done himself in, and Darren Elkins doesn't finish anything, and he knocked him out in the third round. So that's a big kind of red flag that you have to be careful with. And Ige, to his credit, I've never been super high on Ige, but his last fight to me showed he is making big strides in his game overall, because Aguilar, we've seen him come through the regionals. I think he was an LFA, and it took a while to get into the UFC. But he's super tough and very durable. The guy has a chin. But Dan Ige was absolutely polarising him with some massive, massive shots. Like, I'm not kidding you, he was absolutely ripping straight down and countering him so well. And that was the kind of step up they had to make. He came in against Arce. That was a tough fight in itself. But then he kind of got the right fights. The Santiago's, the Jordan Griffin, who also is a tough fighter. The finish, you started to see that like he could drop you and he could definitely submit you as well in the Henry fight. And then the Aguilar fight, I thought he put it together really, really well. I thought he actually ate some great shots in that fight himself. He was in some bad spots on the ground. Bad spots as in he was on his back, flat on his back. And if I'm Bektić in that one, I take a lot away from that he was put on his back And I think, to me, Bektić is stronger, far stronger in that position than what Aguilar would be. I think if he was to get him to that position, I think he could hold him there for minutes of a round, pretty much. But always at the back of your head is that chin aspect from Bektić. I think overall, he's a really, really good fighter. Bektić, we spoke at UFC 204 in Manchester about how we think this guy could be. He's still only 28 years old. Like you said, he's at TriStar. Sorry about that. I've got the missus that's just dying in the corner there. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Bektić. I think that, like I say, if he never showed the disparities with his chin, then I think this line would be a little bit more higher up for Bektić. So I've got Bektić via a very, very close decision, but wherever the fight goes, Dan Ige is very, very dangerous. So yeah, you have to mind your P's and Q's. If I'm Bektić, I try and initiate grappling in this one. I think he can hold Ige in some positions and win the rounds through that. So I've got Mirsad Bektić to win that one there. Going back to the heavyweight division, we've got Juan Adams against Justin Tafa. And yeah, I don't know why this is the fight before the two title fights, but
I think so everyone can go for a toilet break, get some food, snacks in, just like a little intermission. Yeah,
I don't like Juan Adams as a fighter. I think that he's a little bit of a mental midget. I think that, and that showed after the Greg Hardy fight, the way he acted in that one. There was the whole thing. If you follow him in social media, and I don't, but I've been checking in like I always do, this guy bitches a lot about his weight cut, and I'm thinking to myself, dude, I know you're a big heavyweight, but you should be doing things during your fight camp to not lose a lot of weight towards the ends of your weight cut. You have to kind of gradually do it, especially at heavyweight coming down from over 300 pounds. And he's been doing that. He's been doing it, but he bitches about his weight, and it can't be easy. Like I've never been in that position, so I don't know what it's all about. But you're supposed to be a professional in the biggest kind of organisation in the world. Get your shit together and get that sorted out. I've been looking over his Instagram in the last week, and there was a comment which I've been trying to find today, saying that he wasn't turning up to the gym now. He's went to Jackson Wink for this camp, but there was a comment from a fighter that I think he was obviously sparring with or whatever, training with, and it's like, where are you, dude? It's like, you're not showing up today. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. So you're moving away from friends, family, going to a different camp, and not being in the gym. And then you see him bitching about being in the gym long days. I'm like, that's what you should be doing. You're a UFC fighter. If you want to keep your job, you have to do that, because if he comes out here and loses to Justin Tafa, his head could be in the chopping block, absolutely. Mm-hmm. When you look at the fight, though, Juan Adams, I think, can take this guy down. I think once he's there, he could pound him out very, very quickly. But you know what? I'm going to pick Justin Tafa. I am not in the Juan Adams kind of hype train at all. I've seen some things there where he can gas really quickly.
Hype train? There's a hype train?
And
Where the hell is that?
He was like the single leg that he pulled on Greg Hardy. You should be completing that in Greg Hardy, in my opinion. If you're a wrestler, you should be completing that single leg and not getting pounded out from that position. And you should know, the way he was lying on his hip, he's prone to just getting hit in the side of the head there. And the guy's got a massive head as it is. And then the way he acted after that fight and throwing his mouthpiece into the crowd and running off, I'm like, dude, come on. Justin Tafa, what I will say, very, very green. But he went out on his shield against De Castro. He was bringing the fight. He was looking to throw down. It just happens that he's in the heavyweight division. He got caught by a big, big right hand that absolutely put him out completely. It was a beautiful knockout from De Castro. But like I say, this could look very, very easy for Juan Adams. If he completes that takedown and lies there and gets some ground and pound, he could take this guy out in a couple of minutes. But I'm going to go Justin Tafa. I'm going to go knockout, actually. I don't want to pick Juan Adams in a fight, even though this should be a stylistic kind of good match for him. But I would just rather take the shot and underdog here in Justin Tafa. So I'm going to pick Justin Tafa. First round knockout in this one for me.
It's horrible to pick this fight, isn't it? I hate it when I heard it announced, and then it made me more sick when I heard it was on the main card. Tafa ran into De Castro. literally charged at him with his head forward and got sparked out. And you want to talk about a red flag? What planet are you on to run into another man who's 260, 70 pounds throwing punches at you? It's just not a good idea. Oh, he got absolutely deaded by just pure stupidity. Firstly, seeing Justin Tafa run was a sight in itself, but that was absolutely shocking, mate. Juan Adams, mate, June Adams, right? Oh, dude, he's got. Do you know what bugs me about this kid? He's got a decent jab. He has got a decent jab. If he could sit behind his jab and murk guys all day long, because he's actually got a decent quick jab for the heavyweight division, and because he is like a larger guy, it hurts. The jab bloody hurts. He just doesn't use it right. He's got poor fight IQ. Shocking fight IQ. So is Justin Tafa. Mate, I hate both. I hate this fight. I think they should be at like the bottom of the prelims. Do you know what I mean? They're just absolutely horror bag of a fight. I'm going to go with Adams. Only basis on it is because of UFC experience, because he is training the Jackson's the potential of the smarter people around and maybe helping him out a little bit. I haven't got a great deal of faith in Adams. I've got even less in Tafa. I think that's the reason why. I think I've got a bit less faith in Tafa. I just can't back a guy who runs head first towards another person throwing a punch at you. But don't get me wrong, I think Justin Tafa will come aggressive to Adams, and like you said, Will, I think Adams just needs to be smart and just shoot and get that fight down to the ground, because Tafa's shown he's not exactly the grandmaster. But yeah, mate, in fact, if I'm honest with you, I want none of these. I don't want these to fight to go ahead. I want one of them to get hurt and just like slip in the bath and bang the head in the weigh-ins or something. I don't know, something like that, just so we don't have to see this fight happen. But I'm gonna go with Adams, just because of his jab. Is that an excuse there? That'll do.
Well, the thing is, as well, he's went to Jackson Wink, but what really Jackson Wink as a team is really not outside of Jones.
No, it's not deep. No. Holly Holmes, not going to spar with Holly Holmes, not going to spar with Michelle Watson. It's only the coaching, I think, is the only thing there that's going to really give them the benefit. Maybe the experience of guys who, like, your Jacksons and that, who have been in those positions of the high levels and can give them knowledge. Mm-hmm. Training partner-wise, not so much, but knowledge base, it might help him.
Yeah, they haven't got that many fighters coming through.
No.
And this happened with Mike Perry. Mike Perry went to Jackson Wink and now he left. And really, if you take John Jones out of that camp, it's like, what have they got in the UFC?
John Dodson, Holly Holmes, Michelle Watson.
Those guys are coming to an end. Coming to an end. So,
yeah.
How much is he really going to improve as a fighter? I don't know. The thing that I didn't really mention as well, like Justin Tafa actually went to a kind of full proper fight camp for this when he went to Tiger Muay Thai, and he was working his grappling actually with the Hickman brothers, who are really good grapplers, guys that I know about. So that's a positive on the Tafa side. Like I say, just don't kind of run into a shot if you can. But like I say, he probably thought he was a bit indestructible. That Samoan blood that kind of runs through them, and that's what happens sometimes. But like I say, I wouldn't be confident in betting either, kind of, especially the Juan Adams side being a heavy favourite that he is. But yeah,
is he? Oh, how?
He is.
How are you a heavy favourite?
He's a heavy favourite. But yeah,
I'd probably bet Tafa even though I picked Adams, mate.
Yeah, it's to me, if I'm betting it, and like I don't know the odds. I think it's plus 200 for Tafa. Yeah, plus 200, minus 240 for Juan Adams. I don't bet Juan Adams, even though he could make this look completely easy. Yeah. But Justin Tafa's plus 200. I'd rather throw my money on a guy like that who could maybe knock him out. But moving on, co-main event, you've got Valentina Shevchenko for Chookagian for the UFC Women's Flyweight Championship. And is this the person that's going to beat the Bullet?
No.
I don't think so, but what do you think?
Yeah, just no. She got to the title fight with decision wins. She's not showing anything in her skill set that makes me say you're going to outclass someone like Shevchenko. Obviously, she's got a bit of skills on the ground, but on the striking side of things, take away her tennis player yells, she doesn't do anything that makes you go, oh, I'm going to be backing off from that. No one backs off from her really either in fights. Some of the fights that, people are happy to go toe-to. Jessica gave her a bit of a rough fight. I think Shevchenko will see the strikes coming a lot easier. I think Shevchenko will be able to counter the strikes, output her with the striking. I think she can grapple her. If Shevchenko wanted, she could probably out-grapple her if she wanted to. I think Shevchenko's way too good on this for Chookagian. I'm too high on Shevchenko anyway in that division. I think it's hard to see girls in that weight class who are going to take it off her. You just look at that weight class at 125, you think, yeah, that girl's staying there for a while if she wants to. She could just stop fighting if she wished to, obviously, of course. But I just don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what Katlyn's going to bring to that table, mate. That's new either. I know she's with Mark Henry and all that good stuff. She trains at Henzo Gracie's. I don't care. She's not. If she wins, I'd be absolutely amazed. And if she wins without Shevchenko being injured, I'd be absolutely astonished because I don't see anything about it. She doesn't hit girls where they're rocked. She doesn't hit girls where they're like, oh, I'm an absolute mess. Shevchenko, she can murk girls. She's so well-rounded. I think Shevchenko will be able to get past the punches and kicks and land more. I do. I don't see where Katlyn's going to win this fight. It's a simple, easy one for me, this one. I think it's a bit too one-sided. I don't know what the odds are, but they better be bloody big because I think Shevchenko should get this all day long.
The odds, as you would think, are very, very big. There's Valentina Shevchenko's minus 1100, so
yeah, bingo, spot
plus 700 in Chookagian. When you're breaking it down skill for skill, how does Chookagian beat her? Output. Is she going to do that to Valentina? I don't think so. I think she's going to try to hit and run off, but I think Valentina's going to be cutting off the cage. This fight's either going to go, she's either going to get a finish or it's going to be one of these really boring fights like the kind of Carmouche fight was. Yeah, very little action kind of really takes place, and one person wants to fight with the other person really doesn't want to engage in fight, because Chookagian doesn't want to get in here and engage with someone like Valentina, because Valentina, I think, has got too many tools for her. I think she's too slick on the feet. She's got more power. She's got more combinations. She's faster. And then when it goes to the ground, I think Chookagian's actually pretty decent on the ground. I mean, she's with Ricardo Almeida, Henzo Gracie. She does a little bit there as well. So she's got some decent kind of skills on the ground. Not that we've seen all that much of it in the UFC. We've seen her taking it down as well. But Valentina is just one of the elite girls, complete elites in the sport that we've had for a long, long time. Outside of Nunes, for me, who I think she's not far behind Nunes, honestly. Like I say, they've fought twice. Nunes has had the victories twice, but they fought a third time. I think Valentina could be in with a good shout at beating Nunes, even though Nunes is the best women fighter in the sport now.
That second fight was close.
It was. Even the first fight was kind of close.
Close, yeah.
But Shevchenko, she's shown she's got a little bit of everything. She can take you down. She can dominate you on top like she did in the Jessica fight. I mean, in that Jessica fight, she just came out swinging like baseball bats, going for the body of Jessica, and before you know it, Jessica didn't know what to do, was trying lowering her arms into her body, and before you know it, she's knocked out with a head kick. And that's the reads that Valentina can make, and that's how quick she can take out. But also in that fight, like I say, she took her down with a beautiful, strong takedown, and was just great in that position, and nearly got a submission as well, I think. So I don't see Chookagian outpointing that. I just see Valentina just really cutting her off, landing the strikes. She maybe doesn't get the finish. I hope she does get the finish, personally. I don't want to see 25 minutes this fight if Chookagian doesn't want to engage. But I think my prediction is going to be Valentina via decision. So to me, it's going to be a bit of a spoiler fight. It's not going to be great, but I want Valentina to finish the fight. I just don't think it happens. So.
Okay, go on, bro.
Yeah, Valentina.
You're doing the introduction to the main card.
The main event.
Yeah, I did the breakdown of Valentina.
I've been a million miles away there. Main event one. Sorry, I was a million miles away there. I was kind of thinking to myself how Chookagian actually wins that fight, and I think did John actually speak? So yeah. John Jones defends his title again against the undefeated Dominick Reyes in our main event here, where some people out there that have messaged me specifically and think that Dominick Reyes has a big chance here. I think he's got a striker's chance. I think that, obviously, when you look at skill for skill, Jon Jones, I mean, there's been some question marks with Jon Jones, hasn't there? The last fights. There has been. I don't think he's been at his optimal best against, even the Gustafsson fight. I thought he was a little bit laboured in the first couple of rounds. The second fight was Anthony Smith. I thought he had opportunities to finish that fight. Thiago Santos.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To finish that fight, but never took them. And I'm a little bit. That's the only thing I'm a little bit worried about, because against these guys, all it takes at any time is just one shot to really hurt you, and that could be you. And especially with Reyes, with the power that he has, that he could come across with that left hand, swipe you with it, and that could be it. But I just don't see Dominick Reyes being that guy. I really don't. I know that he's coming in here super confident. He has to be. He's never lost a fight, even though I think the Volkan fight was very, very close. But that might be the type of fight that maybe brings on to say, look, I can't fight like that again. I have to fight better. Come out against Chris Weidman, instantly kind of get taken down. Didn't look great. He didn't look like he liked that, being taken down by Weidman. But Weidman's a wrestler, and a good one at that. But he worked his way back to his feet, and once he worked his way back to his feet, I thought it was only really a matter of time before he beat a kind of blown-up guy at 205 in Weidman. But what he does show is that he has a bit of a sniper with that left hand as well. So he can sit back and he can fire, and he can do it even while moving. He can plant his back foot very, very quickly and come through with that left hand very, very sharply. And that's something that you have to be careful with at any time. You go back to earlier fights before even the Ozdemir fight, the Cannonier fight. He was spamming kicks on Cannonier, big time. Yeah, he ate a couple of that and didn't like it, and then he caught him with a beautiful uppercut. So you can see the variety with his striking, with the kicks, because he doesn't discriminate. He kind of goes high, he'll go to the body, he'll go low. So very dangerous there. And we all know that Jon Jones is probably a little bit susceptible to leg kicks. He's got those chicken legs that can be got at Thiago Santos, kind of got him a little bit there. But a lot of people thought that fight was kind of close with Santos, maybe because Jon Jones kind of fought it closer than it had to be. I still had Jon Jones very, very convincingly in that fight, 49-46.
Yeah.
Some people thought Thiago Santos won 48-47. I'm like, I don't understand how you grasp that, how you see it that way. And Jon Jones picked at Thiago Santos in that fight to blow out his two knees with those oblique kicks and everything else that he uses. So, yeah, I think Jon, obviously, he's got that reach advantage. He's got a guy who's the same height as him. He had that with Gustafsson. But I think he uses his range as good as anybody with his teep kicks, with his oblique kicks. He keeps his guys, keeps back. He's got the combination with his striking. Great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu, great ground and pound. Everything about his game is there except for his kind of killer instinct. Has it maybe left him? Maybe. I don't think we've seen the end of like Jon Jones finishing fights. I'd be surprised if Jon Jones continues fights and never stops fights. I think if he gets this fight to the ground where Reyes hasn't got an opportunity to get his back to the cage and get back to his feet, I think this is going to be a long night for Dominick Reyes. I think that Jon Jones' ground and pound is some of the elite in the sport, with the height that he can throw in his elbows. His elbows anywhere, actually. He throws them from the clinch, from open shots, and in ground and pound situations. He's always been a guy that if he gets you there, he can absolutely destroy you with elbows and ground and pound. He did it with the Gustafsson fight. To me, I just think that eventually this fight will hit the mat, and I think that Jon Jones will just have a superior advantage down there. You've got Dominick Reyes coming out making statements like he's fought hard hitters, fought wrestlers, but he's never fought athletes. I'm like, dude, really?
Daniel Cormier, was he not an athlete? Was he not an Olympian? I think you might want to recheck that one, Reyes.
And he's fighting, like, in Jon Jones, his list of kills that he's got on his kill list is crazy, from previous champions. And now he's maybe just not fighting these caliber guys. We were talking beforehand, I really want him to move up to heavyweight, fight Miocic. He needs those big kind of fights. I think that the longer he has these fights with your Corey Andersons and your Dominick Reyes, it's not really going to add much to his legacy, except for adding another title defence to his legacy. But I've got Jon Jones convincingly, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's another stinker of a fight where he goes to decision and kind of wins 4 or 5 rounds pretty convincingly. But I'm going to pick him via stoppage. I think he gets it to the ground and pound, finish probably rounds 3 and 4.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Jones just hasn't found. If you look at the fights he had that stoppage against Gus, but prior to, like you said, Will, there's been decisions after the decisions before it. I felt the Gus fight was the point he just wanted to prove because of the exclamation mark over the previous battle that they had, because everyone kept talking about it for how long? Years and years people kept saying, well, I think Gus won that. I think that got under his skin. And so when he fought Gus, there was a nastiness to him to want to make the point of saying, I'll stop him to shut you up. And when he stopped him, that was kind of Jones going, cool, that's it. But if you look at the other guys he's got, there's not... Obviously, DC's different. I know it went no contest, I know he stopped him, but whatever, it was a win. Take a Coke or whatever he did, or what, I don't give it, or dick pills, I don't care. But then the other fights, like Anthony Smith, he wasn't uber excited about that fight. It was a bit of a lull moment for the light heavyweight division with some of the fights he got. OSP as well. The Thiago Santos fight, again, Will, I'm with you. I don't know where people thought Santos won that. I thought, Jones knew that Santos was throwing leather, so he was just slowly picking him apart for 5 rounds. Not much danger. There was a couple of moments where he went, ooh, squeaky bum, but that was about it. There wasn't too much. I thought Jones pretty much controlled that fight, the majority of it. But other than that, I just don't think he's had the fight to kind of get him going, I'm going to kill this guy. He's just doing his job. He's just literally walking in there going, cool, I'm so far ahead of you, Reyes. I don't even need to go to second gear. Or even, like, not just him, but obviously Anthony Smith and other guys, he doesn't have to go to that next level with them. I think that's possibly what it is. He's just not got that guy that... I think, like you said, Will, Stipe Miocic, I think that would bring that killer instinct in him, because he'll want to have to go out there and perform and show that he can do it. And so he'd want to get a finish in a fight like that. But when it comes to this, like Dominick Reyes, question marks over the Volkan fight. I was like, I don't know, on a decision. Never mind the performance. I thought Volkan put the pressure on him. I thought Jones, he does put pressure on guys. He gets guys on the back foot. He just constantly throws feints. If you watch Jones, he'll feint with a kick. Just a little flick of the ankle is a feint. He'll throw the jab, paw. What that does is, and like you said, Will, the oblique kicks, the teep kicks, that knocks your rhythm. It breaks your path. And Reyes will have his path broken. He's on the back foot. And he does fade off a bit, Reyes. He does tire a little bit. He talked about being an athlete, but I think he does tire off a bit. That athlete comment, what a plonker. And I think Jones will be able to just take his time. Like you said, Will, wrestling's there. Jones in the clinch. If DC says, I couldn't believe how strong someone was, that means that guy's strong, because DC is strong. As you saw him throw heavyweight fighters like they're nothing, like they're toys, threw Josh Barnett round in the air like it was nothing. So DC is strong as an ox. When if Jones is causing problems, I think he'll cause Reyes problems with clinch work. I think Jones can get like inside leg trips, outside leg trips with the clinch on the cage, get it down to the ground like you say, Will, and start getting a ground and pound. I think Jones can actually get a stoppage here. I think he should get a stoppage in the kind of fight like this. I think after the first 2 rounds, Jones will start getting everything going with the timings, the oblique kicks, the head kicks, and I'm going with Jones as well. Stoppage probably 4th, 5th round.
Yeah, it's just I'm interested to see what Jones does this year. I was just reading up a little bit on Twitter there. He wants to fight 3 times this year, and he says he wants to fight in Vegas towards the end of the year, and he's saying that he would like to fight overseas in the summer. So I'm like, that's interesting. So but like I say, I think some people are confident in Dominick Reyes. They think he's the guy that's going to stop John Jones. Not for me, but
no.
You never know what can happen with this sport sometimes. So predictions are through. We're going to quickly look at betting. I think this is a really tough card for betting on this week. I've got one bet already, and it's Mauro Bautista. I got him at plus 140. He's now plus 105. So the money has been coming in on him. But it is a pretty dangerous matchup. I wouldn't bet him anything under plus 120. I got the plus 140. I thought that line was off personally. So betting him now, I wouldn't kind of recommend that. And like you said, there's a few spots in there for underdog plays, like Johnny Newson's an underdog for me if I'm picking him. I would like to get that plus 120. I think he was up round about there. Plus 105, I don't see much value in that myself. I see a little bit of value in Alex Moreno. He's minus 260, so for me, he's a guy I could stick in a parlay. So I'm kind of thinking of a parlay of maybe Moreno and maybe the over 1.5 or over 2.5 in the Jon Jones fight. I'd be surprised if he takes him out in the first couple of rounds. I would be very surprised if that happened. But obviously Jon Jones can do stuff like that. But he's not a guy who rushes things. He can sit back and evaluate his opponent and what he's going to throw. So I think the over 2.5 might be that, and Moreno you might get plus money, roundabout plus money for that, which would be pretty nice for me. I always like to try and get over plus money for that. But I wouldn't mind taking like a minus 110 in that spot either, because I think it's got a good chance of hitting that bet, maybe hitting. But like I say, picked Justin Tafa. You have to be a kind of brave guy to throw money on Justin Tafa being a 3-1 fighter. But the value, I think, is on his side. I wouldn't play Juan Adams at minus 240. It's the same way with Derrick Lewis. Like, he's minus 250. I couldn't throw money on that guy. I've did it in the past and I've sweating my balls off.
Yeah, literally, the balls are hot.
Yeah. The only kind of other spot that might interest me is Mirsad Bektić if more money comes in on Ige, because people, just by looking at Twitter the last few days, a lot of people seem to be betting Dan Ige, but the line doesn't seem to be moving all that much.
All right, okay.
So if that was to get maybe down to minus 120, I might have to think about playing Mirsad Bektić for me. But it's a tough card. For me, it's a very hard card betting wise, not unless you've got a lean with a big dog, maybe with a Latifi, with a Tafa, maybe with a Martinez who's a plus underdog, plus number underdog. But outside of that, I think it's a tough card. I'm kind of looking to pick my spots in this one and then move on to the Rio Rancho card next week with Corey Anderson and Jan Blachowicz, which I've already got one bet for that card. I've got a parlay for that card, but it looks to me a better card than this card that we just broke down. I think there's obviously Diego Sanchez. There's Venata against Yancy Medeiros, which I think is a good fight. Brock Weaver's making his UFC debut, and if you've not seen him, he's a bit of a psycho in there. So, and then you've got Ray Borg and Jim Miller and Mirsad Dvalishvili. So you've got some guys in there that can make for a very, very exciting fights. But
Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah, Nathaniel. That's a big fight for Nathaniel. Like, we're going to see where he really is, because I think he's fighting Dodson in New Mexico, so that's a home gig for Dodson, and Nathaniel Wood wanted to go there and face him. And like I say, Johns did an interview with Nathaniel Wood, so go and check that out in the channel. You'll see it in the channel. If you go in the video list, you will see it there. So go check that out. But yeah, that's UFC 247 out of the way. I think myself and John are going to get ourselves to bed fairly soon, because it's been a long kind of day for us both, staying up and watching the Super Bowl till 3-4 in the morning. John working and me looking after the kid. It's been a long day, but hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave your comment. We really, really do appreciate all your support. Until next week, we'll be back for the Rio Rancho card. All the very, very best. Enjoy UFC 247 if you're going to stay up and watch it this weekend. So yeah, all the best and enjoy the card.